Okay, so one thing I've learned from losing 60 pounds following a whole food plant-based diet is that don't believe the lie that eating healthy or eating plant-based has to be boring or bland or tasteless or anything along those lines. It is just that it is a lie. You should not have to suffer. You should not have to go without enjoying your food all because you're trying to lose weight and get healthy. And today's recipe that I'm going to be sharing with you guys is not only super delicious, healthy, but can I just say that they're so darn cute as well? The only way that I was able to successfully lose 60 pounds this time is because all of the food that I was eating, I actually enjoyed. Because I have been there in the past where I've tried fad diets and, I tried to eat things that other people were eating that worked for them, but I didn't really particularly liked it, but I was eating it anyways in the name of weight loss. We've all been there. But what I learned this time around is that it's actually super important to like your food. So my mission on this channel is always to be in that kitchen, creating recipes that, come with a lot of flavor, come with beautiful textures. Aesthetically, they look nice for the most part, but most importantly, foods that we love that are going to support us on both a health and weight loss journey. And my fruit and fiber oat cups do not disappoint. So let's jump in the kitchen and I'm gonna show you how to whip these up. Okay, so to start this recipe, we are going to be making some oat flour. There is no need to buy some from the store. It is too easy to make. So to start, we're just going to be measuring out 1.5 cups of quick oats and throwing it into any high-speed blender, and that's all there is to it. Unfortunately, I haven't tried this recipe yet using rolled oats, so all I can say for sure that works are the quick oats, so I would stick with those for this recipe if you want the same results that I'm going to get. So I usually blend these oats for about a minute or so, just until you get a nice fine type of powder, and don't worry about it if there's any, little odd pieces in there of oats. It's not going to make or break the recipe at all, so just get it as fine as you can and don't sweat the rest. So now we're just going to go ahead and dump it into any type of mixing bowl. And the next step is that we're going to make some date caramel. All you have to do is blend 1 cup of medjool dates with 1 cup of unsweetened vanilla plant-based milk, and voila, you have yourself some delicious, amazing date caramel, which by the way is incredible for not just this recipe, but many, many things. You can even eat it off the spoon. It is so good. And why I love using dates to sweeten any of my dessert type of recipes is because even though dates are super sweet, they're actually known to hardly raise our insulin. So, it's just incredible. Many people don't know that, so I do like mentioning that. So it's a favorite sweetener of mine. So here, we're just gonna go ahead and mix 1/2 cup of this date caramel in with those blended oats. And then we're gonna go ahead and gently fold that date caramel into the oat flour. And that's literally all you need to make the perfect crust for these delicious no-bake oat cups. I also wanna mention that don't worry about trying to write down the ingredients in the recipe. Like always, I will have it posted in my description box below. So when the video is done, you can just go down there and take a quick screenshot and then you will be good to go. So as you can see, it forms a really, really nice dough texture and it's actually delicious. You can even take a bite right out of the bowl at this point to test it out, but it will get even better as we go along with the recipe. So as you can see, it's a really easy texture to work with. It should be a little bit sticky, but nothing that's sticking all over your fingers by any means. All right, but let's move on to the next step of making these delicious oat cups. But before we do that, in case it's your first time landing on one of my videos and you're also on a health and weight loss journey and you really are just a little bit lost as far as what to be eating specifically for weight loss, well, perhaps I can help because I've actually struggled all my life with weight loss and recently lost 60 pounds following a whole food plant-based diet and eating recipes like the one I'm showing you in today's video. And what makes my recipes different from all the other amazing vegan recipes out there is that I used 0 overt fats in all of my recipes. And that is exactly how I was able to lose the 60 pounds. I removed overt fats like oil, nuts, seeds, avocados, even tofu out of my diet, and I was able to finally lose the weight. And right now I'm running an incredible sale on these ebooks for Cyber Monday, and that is that all of my books are on sale for only $5. So if you'd like to check it out, I will have the link to those books posted in my description box below, but the sale will only be going on for the next 48 hours. All right, but for now, let's get back to this recipe. So I want to start by saying that it is a must to use silicone cupcake holders. And the reason is because we are not using any oil, any butter, anything to grease any type of pan, that they will stick if you just try to put it in a regular pan or even a paper cupcake holder. So it is important that you do use silicone cupcake holders and then you will be golden. So depending on the size of your cupcake holder, you want to take a tablespoon or more of the dough and then you just want to gently press it in to the cupcake holder. Now, what I'm doing here is that I'm trying to bring the dough up around the sides of the cupcake holder and create a large enough indent that we're going to actually be filling. So you just kind of want to work around those cupcake holders, press it nice and deep in the middle to create some depth, and then that's basically it. And then we will be moving on to the next step, and I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that we can fill these. And now, much like a lot of my recipes, there are no hard rules. Like, for example, in today's recipe, I'm going to be making these using raspberries as the star fruit in this recipe. However, if you wanted to swap out those raspberries and use strawberries instead, or blueberries, or really any fruit of your choice, you can feel free to do that. So I always like to point that out, that you can customize any of my recipes to make them, exciting for you, whatever your taste buds enjoy. So here is my raspberry jam. Much like my strawberry jam, once again, I just swapped out those strawberries and I added raspberries instead. I will have the recipe to this raspberry jam posted in my description box below. Again, this recipe is super easy and can be whipped up in under 10 minutes. So this is some of my leftover date caramel, and I'm going to be using it as a base in a couple of these oat cups. So basically, I'm just scraping out what's left, and then I'm just putting a little bit, I would say maybe about a tablespoon or so at the bottom of 2 of these. So this is one version of these oat cups that you can make, because the next one that I'm going to show you is going to contain a little bit of vegan yogurt. So if you're someone who doesn't want to have any yogurt at all, then those first date caramel ones would be the best option. And I'm going to tell you just from here that all of these versions are equally delicious. So just, have your pick. They're all so good. So again, I'm just lining the bottom of this oat cup with about a tablespoon or 2 of some unsweetened plant-based vanilla yogurt. It's so good. If you do eat yogurt, oh my gosh, you're going to love those ones. And then lastly, I am lining the bottom of this one with some of that raspberry chia jam. Now, these last 2 versions that I've just shown you are basically the same, except that I just switched the layering around. So instead of putting the yogurt at the bottom, in this one, I'm putting the raspberry jam at the bottom. And I found that there was a little bit of a difference texture-wise. So again, it's totally up to you. Just play around with it and have fun. So now I'm going back to those date caramel ones, and I'm just topping it off with some of that raspberry jam, and those ones are complete. So once again, if you don't want the yogurt version, then just use the date caramel and the raspberry jam, and those are delicious just the way they are. And then lastly, I was just going and topping off those last ones with some of that unsweetened vanilla plant-based yogurt, and then just throwing a few organic raspberries on top for some garnish. So from here, we're going to go ahead and throw these in the freezer. Yes, you heard me right, the freezer. So we are not actually going to be baking these. These are a no-bake treat, and actually I have baked them and they did turn out okay, but both my daughter and I agreed that the frozen version actually tasted better. So it's even easier. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this in the freezer, and when they come out, this is what they look like. So I actually kept these ones in the freezer for only about an hour and 10 minutes, and they were already nice and solid and formed and absolutely delicious. Now, if you keep them in the freezer longer than that and they come out super solid, then just let them sit on the counter for about 10 or 15 minutes before you try them. These are so good. I cannot even explain how excited I am for you guys to give them a try. Here's a little funny story. As I was trying to get the pictures and a little bit of B-roll for this video, my daughter was like, "Mom, are you almost done? Because I want to have one." Like, she just couldn't wait. They were so good. And my daughter has a sweet tooth, and these are just naturally sweetened, and she found them to be just enough. Like, she actually loved them. And the great thing about this recipe is that you can make them in advance. You can even make a larger batch than what I showed in today's video, and then you can keep them in the freezer because that's where they're supposed to be anyways. So then you could just pull one out as you would like one. Have it with a hot cup of tea or your morning coffee. These can actually be used for a breakfast. They can be used for a snack. They can just be used for a little pick-me-up in the evening. They're super delicious, made with all healthy, wholesome ingredients, and literally just ingredients that you probably already have kicking around your home. And that is precisely why I was able to get the 60 pounds off this time, because I was eating foods that actually tasted good, as well as keeping it nice and healthy. These have now quickly become a staple around my home, and I'm confident that they will become one of yours as well. So once again, if you're also on a health and weight loss journey and you're looking for more whole food plant-based recipes, much like the one I showed you in today's video, don't forget to check out that awesome book sale. All my books are only $5, only for the next 48 hours. The link can be found in my description box below. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.